Hello, Ping.
Hello, Miss Amy. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, we're a little late tonight. We were trying to figure out a little sound problem, and so it's on my end. It is resolved now, so my apologies. Life happens. I haven't talked to you really. I mean, I don't want to lie to our listeners, or our viewers, but I haven't really talked to you since last Thursday. How's everything?
Everything's going all right. Um, week in, week out, we just get stuff done and we meet everyone back here on the Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of been crazy. My schedule changes week to week, especially during the summer with the kids, and so like this is a whole new routine this week. And it's been a little rough, but it hasn't like really been bad. You know what I mean? So I can't complain. No,
As
I'm a
long as
little.
you show up here on a Tuesday and you're alive, that's all we can ask for.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So as per the usual, we haven't really told each other what we're going to talk about tonight. I did brief Ping on one thing because I didn't want to, you know, smack him across the face and be like, "You're on, and I need you," and him be like, "What the hell?" So, other than that, we don't have anything. But I found something out of Australia that I want to show you, if you don't mind. I thought it was
Go
pretty.
for it. Maybe it'll be something I haven't seen yet.
Okay, hold on one second. Get on over there. Do this. I gotta learn to start talking about it before I want to pull it up. That would be helpful. Mental note. Okay. And then let me go. Okay, so I'll go full screen with this in a second. But meet Spot, a WA police bomb response unit's newest member. It's a bomb seeking robot, but they made it look like a dog, and it's in your neck of the woods, my friend. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Hold on one second. I'm gonna mute my mic just in case.
Or tracks. It makes it. This robot brings additional capabilities. As you can see, very obviously, it's got legs instead of wheels or tracks. It makes it more adept at getting up and down stairways and in difficult situations for climbing and going down steep declines. The most valuable asset the TRG has when dealing with a bomb or any explosive device are the people. Anything we can do to protect them and get them further away from a danger and explosive device is a good thing.
So having 4 legs, it allows it to move over a variety of terrains that are just off limits to the tracked or wheeled robots. So some of our bigger, more robust bomb-style robots, although handy and necessary to do some of the more aggressive work and the harder lifting or heavier lifting, this allows us to almost get everywhere that they won't get. And we'll use this robot primarily as a bit of a reconnaissance robot. So to go have a look at it, figure out if it's worth worrying about. And if it is, we can use this to drag or move or bring the item to somewhere where we can examine it or hand it off to a bigger robot that's more capable of dealing with it.
So it's a pleasure for us to work with industry, to have cutting edge technology like this, to make sure we keep them safe and keep our community safe. That is the critical feature of this, because when we do have those situations, and they are rare in WA, but when we do have them, we have the best technology that we can deploy into those high risk situations.
I've been working here 3 years. We've never had macaroni and cheese. It's not something we serve.
So what do you think?
I have 2 thoughts about it. One, I'm surprised someone at the press conference didn't say, "Mate, but does it fetch beers for ya?" Because I figured someone would have asked that. And the second one is, it looks like something out of the Terminator where that arm should have like a laser beam.
I was thinking, I think it was it War of the Worlds?
Something like that. It looks like something like that, doesn't it, with that top piece?
Yeah, and the way the legs move. But I was very impressed. They want to know, Yeah, Tina Runnington. It moves so smoothly. I was impressed that it didn't have like I don't know what you call them, because I call all heavy equipment steam shovels, but like those, they're not like really wheels, but the way that like a machine, like a piece of heavy equipment moves, and it's like a big rectangle and it has like a tread on it. Like it doesn't have like all terrain stuff. It's like dee, 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 dee. It's so agile on those beach rocks.
I think they were saying that the ones with the big tracks on it can't get to certain places, and they use this one to step over things like big rocks where the
Yeah.
tractor type one can't go, which is pretty cool. That looked like it was the WA police, which is on the
It
west
was.
coast.
Yeah.
So
But
lucky it won't be coming to me.
well, the way it popped up for me is we won't say the name, because I think that's like something like after a child is found and been through distress, like out of respect for them growing up and having their privacy, we don't. But there was a case about a young girl who was abducted while camping with her parents. And so I had subscribed to everything WA police at the time. I believe that's why I kind of randomly got that. That was the area, right?
Yes, it's the same area as the little girl CS. It's the same place.
Right.
Well, the same state. I don't think it's the same place. I think that was in Perth, which is the city. So yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. So that was my little funsy for the night. The next thing that I wanted to share with you guys is a little bit more serious, and we won't take a long time on it because I don't want to hog everything, but I would like to get some tabs off my screen. So selfish me. So I'm going to give you a little trigger warning on this part. If the exploitation of children triggers you in any way, then that's what I'm about to talk about. So I will go ahead and lay this out for you. There is I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but there's a TikTok account. I know that TikTok is controversial, for different reasons, people don't like it. But there's a TikTok account called Wren Eleanor. It's actually Wren and Jacqueline. It's a mother and daughter. And Wren is the daughter. And she's up on the account's up on the screen. She's about 3 years old. And the mother is youngish, but not, nothing to like, nothing scandalous, I guess is what I should say. And as you can see here on the photos, Wren is absolutely adorable. She has the personality to match it. The videos are just everyday life. I'll show you one. I just got to make sure that I pop back over here and take myself out for a second.
Be like, yeah, my life be like.
Here, put your hands like this.
Mom versus Grandma 4th of July outfit.
Put out the pink Lamborghini just.
He said, I've been watching you, that ain't that cool, I'm your bud.
Hi.
Oh, you don't like girls that are tatted? Take me off the roster.
Okay, so showed you a couple little videos, pretty normal. I want you to look at how many followers there are, 17.3 million, and how many likes these videos have, 560.3 million. Now, I can't look up her stats for how many times these videos are downloaded, but I will tell you it is quite a bit, and it's causing quite a disturbance on TikTok. And here's why. Well, for two reasons. One, because when you look at the conversion ratio, meaning like how many people have viewed these videos, as opposed or subscribers or followers compared to how many have downloaded, it's upside down. And the second reason is because it's upside down, people started to look into it. I can't show you. I'll pull up a video right now and I will stop it real quick. Okay. If you look over here, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but comments are turned off. That literally happened on some of these. There's now no comments on here at all. This happened maybe 2 hours ago. The comments went off because I was actually trying to, I was saving them to my phone, and I'll show you guys. I don't know if you can see. I have some of them on my phone. I don't know if anybody can see that or not, but I can't. I couldn't get them from my phone to the screen, so I had to do TikTok on my computer or whatever. But anyway, I'll show you. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over here. Let me stop sharing this, and I'm gonna go back here. And in the meantime, Ping, did I describe that the right way? Like when the number of subscribers is not equated to the number of views?
Yeah, I think you explained it pretty well. I've seen this issue pop up, and especially about this channel over the last, I don't know, 72 hours or so, but I'll let you go more into it.
Okay. All right. So hold on one second because I'm having a little bit of a problem over here, and I got to make sure that I can figure this out. Hold on.
Julian says it's favoriting, not downloads. Like users are favoriting the post.
There's downloads too, though, Julian. Like massive amounts of downloads. Like let's say 100 people watch the video, 99 people are downloading, or 98 people are downloading it. Some of the downloads have been on an upswing since this controversy has started, but I'm going to go ahead and show you this video real quick and give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And I can show you in real time what I'm talking about in a second. Just got to... my computer's getting a little glitchy tonight. Not really sure why, and I don't like it. It makes me nervous. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and swipe this back. Okay, so if you guys look, if you type in Wren Eleanor, these are some of the things that come up organically. Wren Eleanor tampon, Wren Eleanor whoopee, Wren Eleanor corn dog creepy guy video, Wren Ellen corn dog, Wren Ellen eating corn dog, Wren Eleanor eating corn dog. And then, you know, we've circled them. Wren Eleanor personal space, Wren Eleanor deep fake. Says at the top, genuinely disturbing comments. Her toddler daughter is receiving comments like this because she's continuing to produce content that feeds these people. Now, I'm not going to 100% agree with this right here. So don't come for me until I've kind of finished laying this out for you. But engagement is engagement with some of these TikTok moms. It says, is she a P star? Like, is she a porn star? This person types, is she free? Then we have, it's always the blondes. And somebody else replies, they're always the pretty ones. Imagine the head game. Winky, winky, winky. She knows what she's doing. She's a child, my guy. Can I have the address for kidnapping purposes? No, I'm sure that's sarcasm, but still not funny. Oh, she's full sweet and she can do something horny. So there's that video. And then I'll show you some of the stuff that had a lot of content. And it starts back here. And hopefully it won't autoplay. There we go.
First time trying a Costco hot dog.
Okay. This is so janky tonight. I'm so sorry. I'm working as fast as I can to make sure this runs smoothly. Darn it. All right, here we go.
First time trying a Costco hot dog.
Well, this is all innocent, like a kid eating mustard. This is the part that people went crazy about. I won't play anymore because it's all pretty much the same. But I personally don't believe that this mother is putting her child out there and putting her in situations. I don't. I watched enough of her videos where I don't agree with that. I think the issue here is that when you put your kids out on the internet, and you put them in these situations, there are people that are pedophiles and have problems, and there's trolls, and they this is pure entertainment for these people. Like you are literally feeding them. I don't think this is this person's intention. And I was trying to find a parallel, and I was thinking about like the show Dance Moms, and like some, not all, because I can never say all, or you shouldn't say all, because you don't know what all entails, I guess. So I'm trying to be fair here, but I think about the show Dance Moms and some of the provocative moves and costumes, or like the children's beauty pageants. I mean, I remember I saw one once where there was a little girl in a bathing suit. She couldn't be more than 3. Do you remember Ping, when Madonna came out with the Truth or Dare book, and she had like a bustier top, but like the chest piece was like cones. Do you remember
I
that?
remember the Madonna cone bra from the 90s, yes.
Yes. So this mom had her daughter in a beauty pageant dancing to Madonna in a cone bra, and she was like 4. And it's just, I mean, maybe I'm uptight. To me, it's like a little bit too much, but I think this mom is catching on. She's started to delete the comments or whatever. So I guess this is like a 2-parter. It's like, can you put your kids in basically innocent situations on the internet and not expect people to be looking at her? And I don't care that some of those things may have been jokes, but there's a lot of really gross comments that I found, and I don't think they were jokes at all. It's not this little girl's choice. I think it's very, very dangerous. I think it's way too easy to find people. I have no training, and I think for you and I, like, if you gave us a couple of names, I think you and I could find a lot of stuff, including where they live and all kinds of stuff in 20 minutes?
Yeah, not even. Probably
Yeah.
find it in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So it's just, it's really, really scary. And I have to wonder, like, why any parent would do this. And like I said, I don't think she's trying to sexualize her daughter, but I do think that the mom uses her daughter to get followers. And they get some, they get like some swag for free. And like, Eleanor gets things from fast food restaurants, and Eleanor gets gift cards, and Eleanor gets toys. And Eleanor reviews like new fruity yogurts or like, whatever it is. But it's like, at what cost?
It does come across as an ethical dilemma, doesn't it? It's like, at what point does it stop being just mummy and me time on the internet and just sharing those experiences, and then becoming something more dangerous than that? But for me, when I watch those videos, I didn't see anything sexual or suggestive. I just saw a little girl having fun. And I
Right.
think if anyone sees that, then you are the problem, because you shouldn't, like, it's just a little girl having fun, and that's the way it should be.
I agree. But if you had a child and I don't want to like even make that scenario. If you have a friend that has a child and they're putting them out on the internet, and all of a sudden there's all these like really scary comments, and people are saving these videos, like they're literally saving them.
Right, then that turns into the other side of the ethical dilemma, doesn't it? It's at
Right.
what stage do you step in and protect your child, or take
Mhm.
positive steps to make boundaries? And I guess like she said, she's starting to do that. She's starting to take the comments down.
She is.
And she may just not know, and it may be like they got famous pretty quick, and they're kind of learning as they go. We've got to
Yeah.
give people the benefit of the doubt too.
You do, and her daughter's adorable. She is, and she's got a cute little personality. And they set up some pretty cute little, scenarios to film. I'm not going to drag her on that. I've done it with my stepchildren, especially when they were younger. I did not put it on the internet. And if they were anywhere, they were on Facebook to share it with family, and they were privated. I think maybe there's like one or two. There's one of my daughter, like one night when they were sleeping, like I drew like magic marker mustaches on the kids, and they got up in the morning and they were walking around with them, like I thought it was funny. But nothing else. Like no like sitting on the potty, no anything like that. Clearly after, like, to me, at some point on this account, she saw her followers growing, and she started using her daughter more. And I think that's what bothers me. And there's a word that, like, I'm not proud of it, but my friends and I used to use, and it's not it's not a word that like we've just used, but it's not a nice word, and it's called a prostitute. It's when you dress up your little kid and you pimp them out to get yourself stuff.
I mean, I think we've seen it. There's been a lot of it's not just the dancing TV, that one with that lady that had the dance studio. There's been heaps. There's that
Actually,
Honey Boo Boo, and
yeah.
all those different type of TLC type shows. I think where this differentiates a little bit, those shows are on once a week at 7 o'clock on a Thursday or something, and it's half an hour, right? So then your mind, or whoever's watching it, their mind changes. They forget about it the next day. When you're on this TikTok and all that, it's constant. Like, it's every day, 24 hours a day. The access is more. And I think that's maybe where some of the issues are, because it is constant and it is all the time.
Well, and I think you have to, like, I was having an interesting conversation with somebody who I now consider a friend, but I mean, yesterday was a friend of a friend. It's weird how that happens. But we were talking about not avoiding situations because of what could happen. Like, we have to live our lives. Like, we can't say like, oh, I don't go to the movie theaters because one time there was a shooting there, or whatever it is. Like, we have to keep on living. We have to be careful, but like not to do that, not to pass those anxieties onto our kids, to try to make them feel safe, all those good things, right? So you can't say like, oh, you can never put your kids, I mean, I suppose you could, but don't ever put your kids online because this is what's out there. I think maybe that's where my mind is going in this conversation, but I guess my concern is pedophilia is nothing that can be cured. It just can't. It is insatiable. There's no treatment for it. There's a reason they're registered, because they will repeat offend. And by using TikTok, you're giving these people, they don't even have to leave their house. They don't have to stop playgrounds, or maybe they do. Maybe they get so fed by this that then they have the compulsion to see it in real life. I don't know. But I do question some of the things, like, I don't know how to say this without people thinking I'm afraid or anything, but like the hot dog video. One time we were on vacation, and you know how you can buy those giant like sour pickles in like the package? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, like the gas station. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were staying at this hotel, and they had like this little lazy river and stuff, and we had and got some snacks to bring down the pool with us, and our kids are like pickle freaks, can't keep them in the house. And so I'm like laying on the chair, Chris is reading, Bella's sitting on the end of my lawn chair, and I noticed like all these men looking over at us, and I'm like, I know it's not me. like what are, and then I hear laughing, and I sit up and I kind of like look around, and Bella's sucking a pickle. She's like 5. Okay. And I didn't like make a big deal, like, oh my God, stop. But I was like, let's not do that. Like, come over here, come sit with me, like that type of thing. There were people like taking pictures and stuff. It was pretty disturbing. So like, I'm not sure I'd let my child on the internet, where like I couldn't control who saw it or who didn't, do something that might emulate something else to set somebody off. So I guess I'm asking you, am I being crazy? Like, are you going to have to start calling me Goody Amy the Puritan? Or is it a legitimate concern?
I think anytime you feel like your child is attracting unwanted attention, it is your concern. Also, it could have been you, Amy. You're a very good-looking woman.
Stop.
And you shouldn't say those things about yourself. You could have been you. They could have all been looking at you. But I guess it's that's your right, that if you think she's getting unwanted attention, that you can be protective about it. It's how do you stop that online, and where does it stop? Where is that line between just having a bit of fun and with mum and me and the daughter and that, and then it's like there's some sort of danger out there? Do we shut it all down? Do we restrict stuff? Do we censor stuff? Do I take my child's face out of it completely? Like, there's all different boundaries there that need to be looked at, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think like, when you have like a little barbecue and you have some friends over and things like that, like maybe sometimes there's a child and they're doing something that in another situation might be like really inappropriate or like scandalous, but you all kind of giggle because you're close friends and you know that like nobody's going to the bad place, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be in your house.
Right. You're your friends and you can speak freely.
Right. So we're just like, oh, kind of like, haha, or kind of like, I told a story one night about how my stepson was like, I didn't bring, he likes to play with like garden tools out in the backyard because he's a wild little boy. And he's like, Chris said, did you bring everything in? And he's like, everything except for the hoe. And he's like, and so Chris is like, oh, you didn't bring the hoe in? And he's like, no, because it was dirty. Chris is like, oh, it's a dirty hoe, and it was like this like banter back and forth, and I'm like dying in the corner, and it was funny, but like he didn't know any better, and there were other people around, and we just kind of giggled about it, like that kind of stuff. But I think when you kind of know like how some other people might react to hot dog eating or stuff like that, and then like all of it, like I almost think you're playing. It feels a little gross. I'm trying to be nice, but it does feel a little gross. Like she's being opportunistic with her daughter in these situations in order to gain likes and views on Instagram. And I get it, because like you and I have this YouTube channel, and we're looking to build this channel and get more subscribers, and we want people to like our videos and share our videos. And like, you know, I don't know why you would download them, but great, do it. You know, and by the way, like if you haven't, like tell a friend, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Like we so appreciate it. But what is this? Is this a woman trying to validate herself through her daughter? It's just, to me, it's too much. And I don't like censorship. I don't like making things into laws or anything like that. But I feel like obviously grandma's involved in her life. Like somebody, if you know this mom, like I think she's getting the message, but I think she's getting the message because other people have picked up on it. She needs like a voice of reason in her life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, maybe they had fallen into the fame thing a little too quickly and they're just starting to figure it all out. And, you know, when you have a child, maybe you kind of don't, you try and think more on the child side of things rather than the dark side a lot of the time. And maybe like, you know, now she's starting to see what could happen or what is happening. And I did read something earlier about people are doing these weird duet videos where they take the video of the little girl and they do stuff to it. And I'm like, shouldn't TikTok be taking a stronger hand with that too? Especially since it is a child. That's, you
Probably
know.
not, because their terms of service are different. That's why I said TikTok in itself is very controversial because of the data collection, you know, because of where it's out of, because of politics, you know, things I don't want to discuss here. But yeah, duetting has been a thing. It's interesting what they'll take down and what they won't take down. You know, and it's hard to get in that conversation because some people believe that because of who owns TikTok and all that stuff, that
Right. Not something we're going to debate here.
right, that maybe they want it that way, or you know, I don't know that answer. It is disgusting. I would say, like, if you come across a video like that, and it is, because I do believe that you can violate a child without ever being near them. So if you're duetting and doing stuff like that, like remember those memes, like, or not memes, but like videos people would make of Ryan Gosling eating his cereal? Did you ever see those?
I'm not a Ryan Gosling man. It's not somebody I, you know, look up to or want to look at. But I can't say I've ever remember seeing that one.
Well, it was like a popular thing, and they would find him like on a big screen TV with his mouth open, and then people would hold a cereal spoon up, and it was just like this funny thing, like people feeding. But so,
And then you can take it the other way, can't you? Like you can do some more X-rated stuff with that. So yeah,
right.
and especially when you're involving a child, it's disgusting, really. It's
Right. So if you come by something and they're doing that to some child's video and it's a duet and you happen to be on TikTok, then I urge you to report it. I can't say that's going to do anything, but that shouldn't be happening. That really, like, that is abusive to the child, in my opinion, because you're insinuating an act and it's just gross. So yeah, Kathy Lynch. By the way, hello everybody. Berserker Loki, Tina Reddington, True Crime Unveiled, TCU. I hate chocolate. I agree with you. Civilization has lost beauty and innocence, and bad people poison our lives. Amen, sister. Tracy L. Oh my gosh. Tracy L says there was a penis strumming a guitar. I felt some bad taste, and they wouldn't take it down. Yeah, that's like I don't get that. Like why anybody would do that. Shiva's girl, hello. Now I lost who I said hi to. So hi everybody. I'm sorry. What are we saying here? Yeah, that's the thing. Who is interested in spending time watching videos of someone else's kid except relatives, friends, and pedos? And I will tell you this, in defense of some people me, there is a mother on there, and her two daughters have an incredible vocabulary, and they're extremely precocious, and it's crazy the sentence structure that they have at like 2 and 3 years old. And I do watch those every once in a while because I find it fascinating. I believe it's because they sing a lot and because they read a lot, but and mom doesn't use baby words with them. But what am I saying here? There are internal memos that have been leaked where TikTok has admitted to suppressing LGBT creators and those who looked for, so the opposite could be true. I have no doubt. I mean, I think there's a lot of, I think we've heard of a lot of platforms where they are picking and choosing who gets, what would you call it, like priority, or like the algorithm works better for them than for others, or
They're basically doing what's best for their platform in what they think is the best. It's a business at the end of the day.
it is, and it's unfortunate. I want to read some other comments. Let's see. Yesterday, I saw a TikTok of a man beating his son for real. I went to report it as child abuse. The report button was gone. Oh, that's nice. That's terrible.
That kind of stuff used to happen on YouTube back in the day too. There was a live streamer who raped and beat his girlfriend on live stream when he forgot the live stream was on, and you heard everything, and he was actually arrested and charged. And he was quite a large name on YouTube at the time too.
Oh my god, that's insane. Steven's girl saying, is the comment on the screen blurred, or am I having a mini stroke? Don't panic. I don't think you're having a mini stroke. I hate if you feel like you are.
Your internet might just be a bit crap.
Yeah, please call 911. You're a doctor, and we love you. But it looks good to me. And I'm looking on another device too. It looks good.
It looks clear on my side, not in the panel that we're in for the creator, but I've got a second panel up of YouTube, and I can see it, and it looks good to me too.
Yeah, I usually keep it like on my phone, so I can look over and see it in case I lose my screen, so that I know if Ping is taking the opportunity to say nasty things about me while I'm gone. They'd be like, "Oh, you're back. We missed you." No, I'm kidding. So, do you have some things you want to share, or do you want to go into what we had talked about previously? I'll let you.
I just have a little quick story to talk to you guys about. On the weekend, there was a man 2 suburbs from me who was kite surfing at the beach there, and he got into distress on the water, and people on the shore were calling the police for help. The police were listening to the calls come in, and one particular police officer, he overheard on the radio that it was going to be 40 minutes until the police boat could get there from Melbourne. And he's like, wow, the guy could be dead by then. So he called his daughter, who was a surf lifesaver, and she came out from their home, paddled out from the beach, and rescued this man and brought him all the way back to shore. She wasn't even on duty. She was just at home. He just called her, and I was like, what an amazing young woman. She's only like 16 or something.
No, I thought you were saying a daughter. I was thinking like an adult daughter.
No, she's only a teenager, and she just went out there, brought him back to shore. They're not even on right now because it's winter, so they closed down a lot of the surf lifesaving during the cold weather. She just went off on her own and saved this guy's life. So I just wanted to highlight her for being such a great person. Just give me a second. I'll just grab her name.
Nice.
Her name is Bianca Stranger. And her father is Murray Stranger.
Oh, that's an amazing name. Yeah.
It is for when you save someone, because you're saving a stranger. So it's stranger meets stranger.
Yeah. Bianca needs at least a Lifetime movie made about her, but where we spend like an hour of her, like, just going about her day. No, I'm not trying to make light of it. I think it's always wonderful when you see people that are trained to do things like that, or like strong swimmers, or like an off-duty police officer, or like a off-duty border patrolman. You know who I'm talking about. Just things like that. And then everyday heroes. It gives you like that's a good story coming out of what we just talked about, because that renews my faith in humanity.
The father was saying, he's very happy for the accolades for his daughter and that, but he's like, he wanted to highlight how well the training in his daughter was given, that she had the confidence to go out there on her own, open up the surf life-saving shed, grab the boat, and head out there and save this man all on her own when no one else was there. So, it also goes to the training of Surf Life-Saving Victoria as well.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like, look at me. People are going to start calling me. I'm going to be like the SNL skit, like Debbie Downer, like. Wah, wah, wah. But unfortunately, you hear a lot of times that people don't want to get involved in situations because of liability, like to the point where I remember, I think it was over spring break, so it would have been like in March. I was reading this thing about, it was a story about, don't ask me where it was. It was in the United States. But a nurse did not want to give CPR to somebody who needed it, somebody that had been injured. She was talking to the 911 operator because she said, it's too much of a liability for me. And the 911 operator.
Heard that before, yeah.
And it's like, the lady was like, he's going to die. Like the night she's like, can you yell out to a stranger? Can you show a stranger how to do it? Like, can you like leave the building and go out and yell into the street? And the nurse is like, I have to stay with him. And she's like, you're not saving his life. Like, go get someone that will. Like, that's, I mean, when we get into a world where when somebody's dying at our feet and we're thinking about our personal liability, I find that heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking, but what's more annoying is that those nurses have been sued by people they have saved due to injuries for medical bills. If someone saves your life, you don't go and sue them. You say thank you and buy them some chocolates or something.
Yeah.
And that's why they're very wary about doing stuff outside of work, because they're not covered for indemnity insurance. And
Yes.
I kind of get it. I kind of get it the other way too. Like, yeah, sucks. It sucks. That's all it is.
It does. Kathy's asking what's new with me, work, school, or goats and pajamas. Funny thing, there was something on our Facebook page the other day, well, 2 days in a row now. It was like, baby goats on Moorgate. They're black and white. Whose are they? Like, nobody claimed them. And then this morning, somebody's like, the baby goats are out on Moorgate again. I have them on my front porch. And Chris texted me like from work, and he's like, you better not be in your car collecting some kids. Because I'm always in my car collecting kids. And
you have to worry that the next message is, does anyone smell goat curry? Where is goat curry coming from?
Oh gosh. I told you that we went to go eat Indian food. Did I tell you that? Yeah, because I was telling you that like for 5 days I could smell it coming out of my pores. I don't normally get angry with Chris like about anything, but and my sister's a vegan, and there was a point where I was about as close to being a vegan as I could get. And I eat, some meat now, not a lot. But he ordered goat, and he kept telling me how good it was. He wanted me to taste it, and I was like, this isn't even a political thing. I just keep thinking about my little babies that I can't. But
we are sort of the same. It's not goat though, but we don't eat octopus or cuttlefish because they're too pretty, so we don't eat them. It sounds so dumb, but we don't eat them because they're intelligent. And like, octopus are so clever. If they can lift the top off their cage, get out, and then go through a drain pipe and escape, you probably shouldn't eat him.
I agree. One of my best friends loves octopus the animal, not to eat them. And we went to this. We're so lucky where we live. In a lot of ways, they complain about it because it's Florida. But we're so close to Disney and International Drive and everything that we don't have to go to big fancy restaurants to eat like really good food from other cultures. And so there's a place called the Lisbon that we like to eat at. It's a Portuguese restaurant. And our favorite thing to get there is the grilled octopus. And it is So good. And I didn't even think, and I posted it on Facebook one night. And I mean, she called me sobbing. She was like, "Do you know how intelligent they are?" And I was like, "I do." Like, it was good.
But they're so tasty.
I know. But the cuttlefish, at first of all, didn't know that people ate them. So I find that very interesting. And second of all, I find them absolutely fascinating. It's just sometimes you shock me when you say things because I always tease. Well, I don't always tease, but I have teased Ping that I fell out of the kangaroo pouch, and we
We
were
joke that
separate.
we're separated at birth.
Yeah, because there's just so many like things that are like just right there, like 1 degree. And I don't know if you have comfort videos or anybody in the chat does, like when you're stressed out, but you're not like in a life crisis moment, or you just need like a little downtime. I like to watch cuttlefish. I like to watch them like match the black and white checkered in their tank, and a little chair, and they turn into. It's just like magical.
Is that why you're getting the, I don't want to out you and the pet you might be getting, but the other color changing pet?
That's my stepdaughter, and it's because she's always been obsessed with Rapunzel, and Rapunzel has a pet chameleon.
I love that movie. The what's it called? The one with the hair on the Disney one?
Tangled. Mhm.
Tangled. It is one of the best Disney movies ever made, and it's so underrated.
Okay, so when we all get together, either in Australia or here, you'll have to come in a car ride, and we'll do it like hold on, let me mute myself. Let me turn off the camera roll. So I've got to sneeze, so hold on 1 second. Or maybe not. Is it James Corden? The guy that does
Like the karaoke in the car thing?
Yes. Because Bella and I know every song from Tangled.
I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a great movie.
I know. Except that like she's older now, so she gets it, but I get very upset because I know this is like wah. But they need to make a Disney movie where the stepmother isn't trying to kill people and lock them up all the time.
You feel like you're being marginalized by Disney?
Not just Disney, even like Tim Burton does it. Like my eldest stepdaughter, she thinks it's funny to call me Other Mother from Coraline. And like when I used to say like, oh, Kelsey, because I can talk about her because she's 27 years old now. I'm like, Kelsey, like there are 4 Pepsi cans sitting by the chair. Like, can you and I would even say like on a commercial, can you please pick those up and put them in the recycling bin? She'd look at me and she's like, are you going to sew buttons in my eyes? And I'm like, like,
is it something you're wary of as a step parent that, does it affect your decision making for certain things that you don't want to be perceived as the evil stepmom?
It's interesting you ask me that because my immediate response would be yes. But a lot of times I'm probably perceived as being more strict, and it's not because I'm an evil step parent. It's because I'm being entrusted with somebody else's children, and I can't take calculated risks with them. I can't.
I wonder if that's where some of the stereotype comes from because, in shared households or blended households, that other caretaker is, in that position of, well, they are my children 4 days a week, but they're not my biological children, and I have a biological mom to look at on a Saturday when I hand them over.
Well, here's a perfect scenario. So, and I get this. There's no judgment. I make my decisions differently because of who I am in the situation. So I'm like, although I'm a step parent, I'm also like a nanny or a babysitter in a lot of ways. So you may take your children, you may go and get gas, right, at the station, and then decide you need to run inside. Like you don't just pay at the pump, you need to run inside. Some people may say, oh, it's 20 feet from the car and I can see them through the window. So yeah, I'm just going to leave in the car. It'll be 2 seconds. And you're a parent and you know your kids and that's your decision. I can't make that decision for your kids. I can't. like I have to take them with me because they are like your most precious item in the world, and like I can't. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I get it.
that's where it gets tricky because sometimes the kids are like, "Mom," especially when they're little, like, "Well, Mom lets us do it," and then you're the mean one, and you can't say to them like, "Well, your mom." Your mom will get, like you're like I don't want to say their mom because it's like got around or something, but like a mom would be in the paper and it would be like negligence or an unfortunate accident or whatever.
You would be like murder, and you'd be like, "Come on."
I'd be on 2020.
Yeah, you'd have your own HBO special.
Yeah, it'd be like, for a mom, it would be like, let's all take a lesson. Thank God nothing happened to the kids. Blah, blah, blah. We set up the secret camera here tonight on Dateline. And then if it was me, it would be like, watch who you marry because not every, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not to catch a pedophile, it's to catch a stepmom.
I know. And I'd have this big bag of buttons. Yeah, so.
That was pretty funny, but I wanted to, so now we've had a little bit of fun, because we're at an hour mark already. I can't believe how time has flown.
I know.
Do you want to do this last episode of the podcast, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight?
Sure.
And we'll get people to go and listen to episode 1, and then next week we'll come back, or on Thursday we might come back and talk about episode 2.
Okay, so we have been listening. Well, Ping has already done it. He turned me on to it. It's a suggestion. So the name of the podcast is called, and I will link it in the description below. It is called Unraveled. And I listened to season 1, episode 1. It's called David and Goliath. And I will, just so we give credit where credit was due, even though we're going to put in a link, I always like to say it is a podcast created by Billy Jensen and Alexis Linkletter. And it is about the Long Island serial killer, which is also referred to as LISK, L-I-S-K, by some people. Sorry, my voice. And the Long Island serial killer is also, I think it's referred to as the Gilgo Beach killer, and also some people call it the Craigslist Ripper, which is not to be confused with the Craigslist murderer.
There's a few names for it depending on what section you're talking about, which murders you're talking about. But under the whole umbrella, most people use the Long Island serial killer name.
Right. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of how to do a synopsis for this. So, the Long Island serial killer consists of 10 to 16 people found over. It's confusing. And jump in here, like talk over me if I start to say something wrong. 10 to 16 people. Their bodies discovered over a period of 20 years, but most of the identified victims were found between December of, between December of 2010 and March and April of 2011. So there was a girl that went missing. Her name is Shannon Gilbert. She goes missing December 11th, 2010. And they discover her. Okay, so here's the story of Shannon Gilbert. Shannon Gilbert, most of these women were sex workers. They ran ads on places like Craigslist, Backpage, 1-800 numbers, all the normal places. And so her included. Shannon Gilbert made a 911 call that night. It was 23 minutes long, and she was saying, they're going to kill me. They're trying to kill me. And then she drops off the face of the earth. So Shannon got a lot of attention. So again, December 11th, 2010. And then they start, while they're looking for her, they find the first 4 victims that they have determined are related and were killed by the same people. They were all found in the same generalized area. They were all found within 500 feet of each other. off the south shore of Long Island, and they call those first 4 discoveries the Gilgo 4. Am I doing okay so far?
Roughly, I'll correct
Okay.
one thing. It wasn't September 11th. It was May 10th, I think, or May 1st. Hold on. May 1st, 2010 is when Shannon Gilbert was at Oak Beach,
Oh.
like the Oak Beach residence. So
I'm sorry. You know why I said it? Okay, back up. You guys, you're dealing with ADHD here. So when I spell out loud, I get G's and J's mixed up, okay? And ever since the Twin Towers thing, if I'm thinking 9/11, sometimes I'll say September instead of 911. And so I was thinking about the 911 call, and I probably said, and then thinking May 2010. And
yeah, you probably got your dyslexia flipped
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't have dyslexia, but I mess things up like in my.
It's really common with ADHD people.
Yeah, it didn't come out right. So I always, like, when I talk about dates, I always mess them up. If you know me from anywhere, I will tell you, like, if I get a date wrong, like, call me on it right away, because I don't. It's all making sense and aligning in my head. It's just getting jumbled up on the outflow. If that makes sense. So yeah, the first 4 are the Gilgo 4, and that's let's see, Maureen Brainerd, and she's 25 when she disappears, and she's last seen July 9th, 2007. Melissa Bartholomew, she's 24. She's last seen July 12th, 2009. Megan Waterman, 22, June 6th, 2010. Amber Costello, 27, September 2nd, 2010. Some of these other women that are, the reason it's between 10 and 16 is because, how do I explain this? Some are like partial finds, and some, like, they found part of them one place and part of them in the other, and they.
Right. So some were like their torso was found over here and their legs were found on the beach in Long Island. Some were found here, and then their other parts were found further down and things like that. So basically, like Amy said, when Shannon Gilbert went missing, they started, well, there was a bit of a delay, but when they started looking for her, they came across one body, and then basically they were like, well, we should keep searching because it's not Shannon. And they were like, okay, they kept searching, and they pulled up another body and another and another. And then I think when they found the first 4, they were like, we have to search every inch of this beach section. And then when they did, they found a lot more. And it's still one of the most enduring mysteries of true crime today. It's done by a lot of people in true crime. There's a lot of podcasts about it, and there's a lot of pushing right now still to try get a resolution to this, get more openness with Suffolk County PD, which they have been. They released Shannon's 911 call about 8 weeks ago, which was kept under lock and key for like 10 years. And they finally released that it was about 8 weeks ago, wasn't it, Amy?
Right around there. And while you're saying that, Amber said, I never realized how many cases I'm not familiar with. It's because we all have our own. I didn't really know a lot about this either. Ping is actually the one that brought it to my attention. And for those of you that know it, may be like, how could you be a true crime and not know this? Because you can't ever keep up with everything. You just can't.
Can't know everything in true crime.
It's a sad statement, but it's true. So I think I had found something on Netflix, and I was telling him, and he got kind of excited, like, oh, I know all that and everything. And we started talking about it, and he has always wanted to do something about it. So that's, like, one of the things we're going to do here, and via
I think that's a bit of a red herring. I hate chocolate. I don't think the belt actually means much at all, to be honest. I think if it meant anything, it would have been, dealt with ages ago. They would have swiped it for DNA or something. So I think there's other things they can look at that would probably get them closer.
So they found so for those of you, we'll lay this out step by step, not tonight, but I think from now on, now that we've started it, like probably every time we meet, or at least once a week, they did find a belt, or they did release some evidence of a belt, and they had a belt buckle. I'm trying to get this right. The initials on the belt buckle were either HW or HM, depending on which way it was oriented.
Flipped
So,
around. Yep.
okay. So yeah, it's a super interesting case because there are a lot of theories about who could have committed this crime and got away with it. The way it was reported to the community at some points made it sound like these bodies were just dumped on the side of the highway. That is not the case. They are led to believe that these bodies were dumped at night or the concealment of darkness. And you would have to be familiar with the area, so you're going to have to be local. And that's common for serial killers. They work somewhere where they're comfortable. And you wouldn't want to be driving into heavy underbrush and down in places like that unless you knew where you were going. There's also theories that the person that did this might be law enforcement because they were careful not to leave, DNA and things like that. Although there have been points made that in the age of forensic files is still out there, but I mean, let's be honest, it's been out there for a long time. Ever since true crime became acceptable, or not acceptable, but like entertainment or infotainment on TV, and started out with like America's Most Wanted and some of those, and then cops and stuff. The general public has learned a lot. So they have to kind of really, really look and say, is this somebody that watches Law and Order all the time or SVU all the time, or is it somebody that actually has inside knowledge? And depending on who you talk to, there are people that say, no. The way certain things were done is the way a law enforcement an officer would do it. So that's kind of like, it's not where the podcast starts, but the first episode of the podcast is the female host sharing that she has this longtime friend who she used to party with in high school. They were close in high school and they went to parties and hung out. And other people left for college. She stayed at home. And he got more into, he stayed a partier and he got into opiates. And so, he's kind of like fallen flat on his face and been rescued. And then, he's just struggled. And she's maintained a friendship with him no matter what. And so when the podcast begins, he's incarcerated. He's talking about, to her, like, I don't know if my lawyer is going to be able to get me out on this one, or how much time I'm going to have to serve, or this, that, and the other thing. She gives their backstory, and he had, see, it's weird. On the podcast, they can transition it really well, and I'm not doing a good job, but basically at one point, the beginning of his, like, what we'll call it his criminal career, he had gone to buy some drugs from somebody, and right after buying the drugs, he was early in his criminal career. He was already on probation, and when he had gone to buy the drugs, he was immediately arrested, but not for the drug purchase or something. They did like what some people would consider a controversial search warrant, and for something else. And so here's how it works out. On the way to go buy these drugs, he needs money, and he's a druggie, he's a junkie. So he's going to this, they say it's a corrupt police officer's house to buy drugs. So it's insinuating that there's a police officer in Suffolk County that confiscates drugs and then sells them. So he's checking all these cars on the way to go buy these drugs, and he comes across a car and has a duffel bag, and he swipes it out of the car, and then he goes and he gets the drugs from the cop allegedly, and they mention that the drugs come in an evidence bag, and he throws the evidence bag in the duffel bag and goes home. And that's when like cops start swarming and everything, or no, not really, but he I'm not doing a good job.
He gets picked up really quickly after swiping the bag. It's almost like they knew exactly who took it. They were at his house like within an hour. Right. He was arrested, taken down to the station, and he was beaten, kept there for many, many hours, and basically had all his liberties taken off him, and they broke basically everything in the Miranda Code.
So in between him getting arrested or being taken into custody and buying these drugs, he peeks in the bag and there's a bunch of DVDs. And he describes one as Asian porn, some like hardcore, I don't know, bondage porn, and then like some like whatever porn, some sex toys, and then there is, I don't know if you guys remember like getting things from like Redbox, but like a DVD that had like a white paper sleeve on it. And so he took out that and he like watched it, and he says he watched a couple of minutes of it, and it was clearly a woman crying for her life, bound, tied up, and being killed. So it was a snuff film.
And it wasn't a make-believe one. He was fairly sure this was a real snuff film, not because there's in the porn industry and the fetish industry, there is a very dark portion of that world that does make-believe rape scenario and snuff films, but they're not real.
Right.
He was pretty sure this was a real killing on camera.
So, and he was so disturbed by it that he, because nobody would want to be in possession of that, right? He hides it in a shop vac in a house where his mother also lives. And this is important. So he gets home, there's like his parole officer or probation officer is there. I don't think they really had an accurate search warrant, or there's some argument about how the legalities of that. They kept him and his mother separate. They were holding him down. There were these two officers in the house that were just tossing everything. They never would have found these DVDs except that they, in the process of doing something in the basement, they knocked over the shop vac and the videos came out. Then they haul him down to the station. He's first put in an interview room that had both audio and video recording, and he was going to be interrogated, but they sent in another unit called the criminal investigation unit, which is kind of like a more specialized, like upper part of this investigation. And those people put him in like basically like Abu Ghraib prison. Like the way he describes it is they had him squat on the floor and they chained his ankles to the floor and then his arms to the floor in a squatting position and left him there for hours and hours. And
so like a frog position is the way he described it. If you imagine a frog, he was chained to the floor in that kind of position for many hours.
Yeah. So that's kind of where the first episode lies, is saying like, hey, this guy's name in the podcast is Chris. The female narrator is saying, you know, my friend Chris may have information about the LISK killer. And that's kind of the, what do you call it? Like the catch, the tease to kind of get you in.
I would say it's the, like it's the burner trailer. It's the thing that's supposed to hook you for the next episode.
That was the word I was looking for. Hook. It was the hook. Yeah, that's the hook. So that's kind of where I am. That was episode 1. They run about 42 minutes. I can tell you that you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts or you can listen to it on Spotify. Normally I listen on Apple, but I actually listen to this on Spotify because, and I'll tell you why. Like all of you, I'm very short on time. I'm pulled in 90 different directions. I'm always trying to do 2 or 3 things at one time. It doesn't always work out that way. And Apple Podcasts allows you to listen to it like at like normal speed or sped up like 1.5 times or 2 times. Spotify, they have like 1.2, and it's just enough to speed it up a little bit. It's kind of like when you're trying to beat your GPS somewhere, like you're not really speeding, but you get there before the GPS says you were supposed to be there, which is like a little game I like to play without breaking any laws. So that's why I listen to it there, because I can speed it up a little bit, and the longer I listen, the more time I save, if that makes sense. So I will drop that in the link. And I know some of you say you don't like to listen to podcasts, but this is a really fascinating case. and there's so much to talk about. We could spend, don't you think we could do a portion of our show in the format that we're trying to do, like just one victim per week?
Oh, easily. You could easily do that and be here till October or something.
Yeah.
If you want to cheat a little bit, don't tell Amy that I told you this, but there is a Discovery Plus documentary that runs for about an hour and 20 minutes. But the thing is, it doesn't have as much detail as a podcast, but if you just want to get your feet wet and get kind of like a base ground, set of information, you can watch that. And it's pretty good too, but it's just not quite as detailed as the podcast is.
No, I'm a huge proponent of doing things like that because I think one of the ways to get people interested in a case is to not try to just lay it all out for them like raw, like let them get a little broth going and then we'll fix the soup together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm happy to give people the crumbs and let them find the cookie themselves. So
Yeah. Not that we're hungry or anything.
it's lunchtime here in Australia.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah. I don't know. I just came home and it was one thing after another. I feel bad. Usually I stop my life to eat with people, but I didn't. I didn't have time tonight. So I think I'm thinking about dinner now. So when I complain to you guys, just remember, you're a gremlin and you're also of a certain age. So screw after midnight. It's probably after 7. Don't feed me. No bright light, no water. So I think that's it. We'll go ahead. We have to, as much as we don't talk about what our content is before we come on here. I think we do kind of have to map out how we're going to present this, whether we're going to do it victim by victim or on a timeline or what. But I
think if we pick a victim and then try and present their part of the story and then let the audience go find the rest.
There you go. Okay, I like that idea. I'm on board with that. I am a huge fan. I would like some input from the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, put it in the comments. If you're in the chat, put it in the comments too, I personally like channels that pick one case and do a deep dive and they don't just glance over it or give you an hour. I want to know as much as there is. I want links to every document you reference. I can go look at it myself, any video you looked at. And so because I like that, I'm willing to, and I know Ping is too, we're willing to do that extra work. But I just want to know that that's something you want to do. But in any case, sorry about Shellac, but we're going to talk about the LISK murders because we're both interested in it. And
if you guys want us to do it that format, maybe leave a comment because it does sort of stray from the format we have been using over the last few weeks, and a lot of people did like that. So maybe if we dedicate one show a week to that, and the other show a week is just like what we normally do.
Right. And then we just provide deep dive it, Berserker Loki. I'm a fan of deep dives. I mean, that's how I think it's kind of how I got into true crime on YouTube, is really a fascination with a case. And I found a creator that didn't just give me 45 minutes and skip over some major details, really solid. And I was like, okay, I trust you because I did a little bit of research on this one little part and you got it all right. So you're verified. So I'm here for it.
There's also The Killing Season, which was a documentary actually produced in conjunction with Web Sleuths about 8 years ago, which was about the Long Island serial killer. It's okay. The first 4 or 5 episodes is the best. Once it moves past that, it starts going into some other territory. But if that is another decent resource for this case as well.
Okay, cool. So what was the name of do you remember what the name was on Discovery Plus so I could pull that and try to provide a link?
Oh, it's the same as the podcast. It's just Unraveled.
Unraveled. Okay. All right. I'm writing it down because I have to check it off when we're done. All right. Well, my friend, should we call it a night?
I think we should. I think we're done for the night. It was a good show. It was really nice to see everyone in the chat. I hope we got to answer whatever you wanted and talk to you guys a little bit and got the interaction going. And we'll be back on Thursday.
Yeah, and one thing, because sometimes I think it goes without saying, but it doesn't really go without saying. If you guys have something that you haven't seen talked about somewhere, or it's not up to your expectations, or it's something you want to share, it's just ping and Amy. I'll type it in the comments right now. I should use banner, but just ping and Amy at gmail.com. Or if you guys know my email address, or if you know me on Facebook or whatever, however you want to get in touch, like, it would be nice if we got it all in one place, but I'm not going to complain. Tell us, because like, we can't promise, but I think, a lot of this is just Ping and I, like, bouncing things off each other. We try not to prep too hard on it, because then there's a lot of like pressure and other things that happen, and we like the way things happen organically. And I know I say that every week, but also we'd like to curate it to those that are watching. So if you have a case that you're fascinated with, and you're like, hey, I've just never really seen anybody spend that kind of time, and here's what I'm interested in it, like, drop it in an email. I'll take a look at it. We can't promise, but I mean, some of the best things that I've ever read or ever like looked into have come as suggested, by viewers and subscribers. So I'm totally down for it.
We are here for the collaboration with our viewers. That's why we're here. We want to get your input as well.
It's our own little true crime commune without like the religion and the weird sex. Okay, so
although we do like cookies, so if you want to eat those instead of the bread of Christ, yeah, that's good.
Gosh, just send emails to pingandamy@gmail.com. Put in the subject line cookie porn. Show him your baked goods. Show him your goods, ladies. And I won't open those, so I'll leave them for him. And then I'll start a TikTok channel. So anyway, you still there, or did I just totally blow it? What happened? Ping, turn your microphone on. Oh, good grief. We have such issues on this show from time to time. I don't know what just happened. All right, let's see. I'm going to read some comments.
Did you break it? There
you go. You're back.
Courier, Amazon. I had to run.
Oh, okay. I was like, do I offend? Like, what's going on here? Oh my gosh. You're so weird. Yeah. That's right. Amazon. I'm always like, why is Amazon coming? I'm 14 hours different.
Because it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. On that note, no, he didn't abandon me, Tina Reddington, although he probably has fantasies of doing it from time to time. It's been great. We'll see you all on Thursday. I think we're going to be back at a normal time at 10. Or I'm sorry, dates and times at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, we'll see you when we see you.
Good night, everyone.